Dr. Abel Damian had a man who converted from Islam over to Christianity, and he states why did he leave Islam. So I thought to go through some of the points and add a little bit on that, because I thought there was something in there that was worth our time or worth us going in there to check out, because I thought how they put the interview was very interesting, but there was also some rumiana we can add to inside there. Y'all tell me your thoughts down in the comment section. And of course, you know, if I'm watching a person from Islam, I must have my Quran next to me. So I have some verses that I want to quote. It's going to be an interesting one. Let's hear.
I know that Muhammad has never ever seen Quran.
Wow.
It says Muhammad has never seen Quran. So meaning the Quran was constructed after Muhammad. Now, is what he's saying factual? That's an interesting one.
Wow.
One thing about the Quran.
Muhammad never saw the Quran.
Doesn't see any Quran. Muslims are saying according to the hadiths.
So let me stretch. Now he gets into it, because remember, this is a trailer. They posted the video yesterday. So Muhammad never saw the Quran. That's true. Right? The Quran was in oral version or oral form for the most part. And many people had memorized it. It's actually later people that actually canonized the Quran. So the claim that the Quran is straight from heaven is questionable, looking at the fact that there are things that are clear in the hadiths, that there are verses that they could not remember, which are not here. So this book cannot be from heaven. And how do we know this? The wife of the Prophet, Aisha, said it herself. She said there was a verse they could not remember that was eaten by a goat in the process of the writing. So right there we know Muhammad, yes, never saw this. And to claim that this verse, this book is preserved by Allah, then that would put to question, did Allah then allow the Quran's verse to be eaten? Because the Prophet's wife said so. So yes, he's right there.
Muhammad doesn't know how to read and write.
Yeah, he was an illiterate. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So if truly he doesn't know how to read and write, who is the author of Quran? The parent or prophet?
Now we know how the Quran came about, right? He would reveal these things and then people would memorize them. They would commit them to memory. They still do that till date. You'll see kids being praised a lot when they memorize the Quran and whatnot. But this is also a bit misleading, because they make it, because they proclaim that, because they are trying to prove that the Quran is God preserved. So that's why even kids can memorize it. But why do I say that that's a deception? It is a popular thing in the Middle East to memorize the book of faith. Yeah. Even in Judaism, it's the same. They were taught the Torah from a young age. So it's no biggie. It's no biggie. Mm-mm. You hear Paul speaking to Timothy in the Bible when he says, you have known the scriptures from a young age, because it is part of Hebrew culture or Middle East culture to study your belief to a point of memory. It was not a big deal. It's only made a big deal now because, you know, we understand that technology over time causes deterioration of mind thingy or committing things to the mind. We are more lazy now. So it's no biggie. It's just that they try to make it so that you can understand why was it committed to memory. They started to notice different variations in rendition. So that's why, I can't remember who exactly, was it Uthman or who actually commissioned for them to write it down. So Muhammad never saw it. And the claim that this thing is from heaven has questions because there's clear claims that there are verses that are not there. Continue.
Muhammad are in hellfire.
In the hadith.
In the hadith.
So there are hadiths that Muhammad is in hellfire. I'm not sure about that one.
Who is the author of Quran? The parents of Prophet Muhammad are in hellfire.
Oh, the parents. Okay. I was thinking it's saying that about Muhammad. Okay.
In the hadith.
In the hadith.
Oh my goodness.
The hadiths, by the way, for those that are Christians, hadiths are like extension commentaries for the Quran. Okay, so this is a raw Quran. This particular version I'm having here has like 3 different languages. It has the Arabic. What is it? Yeah, it is the Arabic. Does it say on the outside? It has 3 different translations, basically. If I can show it there. So each column is a different language. So it has English on top, and also it is Abdul Yusuf Ali's version of thing. Okay, so yeah.
So
the hadiths are commentaries that help you understand the time frame in which the commentaries were written. Okay, so when he says that, I need you to understand why hadiths are important. When Muslims try to claim that maybe you read a verse and you didn't understand it, they will claim it's because you don't know the hadiths. When you know the hadiths, they'll go to a different one. They'll say, no, you don't know the Arabic. They always have a trick. It never ends. That's why the guy who went to Gifted Media was saying, if you can't quote it in the language, yeah, it's a trick that Muslims use. Okay, they think it's like some good. No, it's just status. Doesn't mean anything. If you know what the Quran says, they'll say you don't know the hadith. If you don't know the hadith, if you do know the hadith, they'll say you don't know the original. It's a claim. Doesn't really mean nothing. It's just a way to confuse you and keep you studying. You'll waste your time.
is that true? That means already the judgment day has passed.
Yes.
So now we are eating bonus.
Yes. That's what it is. That's what it is.
So if, according to what he's saying, if Muhammad's parents are in hell, it means judgment day has already been rendered. Interesting.
So these are the lies that you can go and research. Even Muslim, I'm showing that they're saying those hadiths are lies, I think.
Wow. Wow.
There is no
assurance in Islam.
of salvation in Islam.
Now, why is this point important? There is no assurance of salvation in Islam. Meaning, there is not enough things you can do that say you are saved. This is why, guys, I warn about people who question people's salvation in Christianity. For as a person who came from believing this, trust me, it's a thing here. It's not a Christian thought. It's cults that do that. So that point of not having, with Christianity we have assurance. It says it countless times. So it's a very important point.
Because even Prophet Muhammad said he doesn't know what will happen to him himself. Oh, yeah. Whoever left Islam.
Now, this is another point. So that point he mentioned them of not having assurance. I don't know, maybe in the interview they got into this, but I wanted to highlight. There is something you can do to have assurance. There is something you can do to have assurance that you will be in heaven in the Quran. And I'll read you 1, 2, 3, 4 verses, and you tell me what you are hearing out of the verses, right? So the first point here comes from Surah chapter number 3. Okay, Surah chapter number 3. Surah chapter number 3 and Surah chapter number 3, verse number 169. And this is what it says. It says, never think of those who are martyred. Okay? Let me put it up there. Never think of those who are martyred in the cause of Allah. Now, what is this? This cause of Allah is what we know as jihad. So, people that are in some type of a fight. And now, of course, there are people that claim jihad means struggle with self. Yeah, but there are extremes that are implied in the verses I'm going to show you, where it tells you what the cause of Allah is. And it's jihad. And jihad means war or fighting, killing and being killed. This is why that particular point is so important. So he says, don't think of those who die in the cause of Allah as dead. In fact, they are alive with their Lord, well preserved for. So the verse is saying, oh no, they're good. So that verse is saying they have attained heaven. So there is the thing you can do to attain heaven according to the Quran. Okay? You heard it correctly. 160. So Surah chapter number 3, 169 is very clear there. 169 to, let me see, 169 to 170. Okay? And then it goes on there. And then it says, they are with their Lord provided for, rejoicing in Allah's bountiful bounties, and being delighted in those yet to join them. So meaning they've attained heaven. So this is why in Islam you'll hear of these extremists that go around killing people, because that's how you are sure you attain heaven. It comes from here. Another one I'll show you that show you the very same idea. Surah chapter number 9. Chapter number 9. Surah chapter number 9. Chapter number 9, verse, what is this? Verse number 111. If you go to verse number 111, this is what it says. It says, Allah has indeed purchased them, has purchased from the believers their lives and wealth in exchange for paradise. They fight in the cause of Allah, so they go into jihad. They are killing and are killed. Do you see that? It rejoices in the idea that they are killing and are killed. By the way, it goes to another extreme here, and it implies that even the Bible approves that, and the Torah, and I'm like, where do you see that? He's implying things that are not there. Muhammad was overstepping his boundaries. You go again, Surah chapter number 4. Surah chapter number 4, verse number 95. Pretty much the same idea. It says, did I mark this one? Yeah, I did mark it. Surah chapter number 4, verse number 95. It says, for those who stay home, so those people who do not partake in jihad, except for those who with valid excuses, are not equal with those who strive for the cause of Allah with their wealth and their life. Notice, it's telling you to either fund jihad, or be a part of it. This is why you will find Muslims who will kill Muslims who do not go with them to the fight. They like claiming that because, no, that's the Quran, chapter number 4, verse number 95. Right there. Right there. It's not erased, it's there. And so, this is the one way that they are assured this, heaven. Even if you go to Surah chapter number 61, verse number 10 up until verse number 12. Same thing. It even says that they will be forgiven their sins and they will be assured gardens of what. It goes on to say the same thing. So this is why, Bazalani, in Islam, you see people killing people. It's because of this. What he just mentioned there when he said there is no assurance of salvation, guess what? There is one assurance that he gives. If you die, you kill and get killed. That's a very dangerous teaching. Very dangerous teaching. No. Hey, man. That woman. Get out of my sight. So he goes on. They talk about other things. I think it's my network.
I know that this is the reason why some of Muslims, they are not agree with hadith. They just believe in Quran. Like one sheikh that in Kasina, Sheikh Ibrahim Yahya Masusuka.
Yes.
He say hadiths all are lie. There is nowhere in.
So you'll find some Muslims who dismiss the hadiths because the hadith exposes the Quran. They tell you the raw story. So they try to dismiss it because you can't hide from the hadiths. There are many, but once you read them, there's no way of going back.
The Quran that men show go and pray 5 times a day.
No, wait.
So he says there is nowhere in the Quran where it says to pray 5 times a day. Yes. Some of these things were evolved into Islam later years on. Even the thing about the mosque facing the east, that's a later rendition. If you actually do your research, you will actually find early mosques that are actually faced the wrong direction from the east. But it's very deep research. You have to go like really deep. Right?
Wait.
Yeah.
There's nowhere in the Quran where a Muslim is asked to pray 5 times a day.
There is nowhere.
So why are they praying 5 times a day?
Now, why does this matter? The Quran calls this the 5 pillars of faith. These are the 5 things you must have in your faith. It is praying 5 times a day, believe in Muhammad, believe in the judgment day and whatnot and all that. And this particular one, it's one of the pillars. Now, guess what? How is it a pillar when it was not there done by Muhammad himself? How was it not there? So it brings up a question about there is nowhere where it says that. They may imply it in the teachings and what. So that's...
I don't know. Because when you look at the Quran, even Prophet Muhammad, he didn't do that 5 times prayer. Because if you ask a Muslim to bring evidence or verses where Prophet Muhammad did 2 rakat in the morning, and then 4 rakat in Asr, 3 rakat in Maghrib, 4 rakat in Isha, there is nowhere found it.
Wow.
And they are saying you cannot find it until you go to hadith. And hadith, the author of that Sahihul Bukhari, where they mention that 5 times prayer, they get back for Bukhari after 200 years.
So the Bukhari writing on the 5 times prayer appears after 200 years. So that becomes a problem, because how do we know it has not evolved into the religion? Because Bukhari, it's late writings, right? It has a lot of the hadith. So it does not appear in the Quran, it's in the hadith. So you go to the hadith, but hadith is written 200 years later. That yet the very Muslims will attack the Bible. No shame. When some of the Gospels are recorded within the first 30 to 40 years, within the lifetime of the people that the Gospels were written in. But they will take an account of a person from 200 years later. This is history. And he says this is the reason why he left Islam. I thought that interview was very, very interesting. That time I thought if you did kind of see it, These are some of the. This is why their ideologies in Islam. You can meet Muslims who are very good people. Yeah, you definitely do, because there are people that will take out of the Quran good practice. Then they will just do that. Then they will avoid all these radical verses and what. They'll just kind of like shade them to the side. As a matter of fact, you can't even bring it up to them because they just kind of like look away from those verses, you know. But these are there. They are there. But you will meet people who are very good. Yes, most definitely. One of the first people to inspire me towards business when I was in high school was a Muslim man. And he was really hammering down. We had gotten this peace job thingy we were doing, and we went to his house and we were working there, and he was very earnest about telling us, you must really look towards something else. I know they are here sending you to do, but he was really trying to inspire us to do something and push, you know. And later on, yes, I did go back to try and find the guy, but, you know, I had completely lost his numbers. So you will meet people like who are good in the thingy, but these teachings are there, nestled in the very same book. And these people who are radicals, it's not like they're getting these ideas from somewhere. No, they are there. And it depends on what? They're trying to get to heaven. They would rather get there quicker than later. Since there's no assurance, maybe your sins will be weighed. So it opens the door for this. Creates a very big problem. It's Ricky. I'll see you on a later on episode. Stay blessed.